That's good to hear. Now, shifting to an aspect I don't think we've touched on yet is the music of Soulstorm. You
Hmm.
know, is this going to be in the like what we encountered in the original game, or is this going to be something different?
Well, the original game was, I mean, you have technology which plays differently, right? Like in the original games, we were on the PSX. The audio capabilities were, by comparison, in the day we were thrilled to see them, but by comparison today, you were in an archaic class of technology, right? And
Right.
so just from there, we should expect better audio, better, more dynamic, a number of things, a lot more channels of audio, a lot more unique recordings, things like that. But um, the original composer was Josh Gabriel, and uh, at that time, he was just at the very beginning of what became sort of worldwide, kind of legendary DJing composer. But he's a brilliant sound designer and composer. And so he went on to form Gabriel and Dresden, Electronica, Motorcycle, and Dane. These are different acts of Josh's. He's had, over 20 dance club #1 hits, remakes of famous female vocalists turning into for club tracks, and a lot of that. So he's had a lot of life out there outside of this. But he did the original soundtrack because he and I were friends in college. He was my roommate, and so Josh is back and he's doing the soundtrack for this game. So Odyssey and Exodus was scored by Josh, and now here we are again, and Soulstorm will be scored by Josh as well.
Oh, that's and is he going for like like what kind of instrumentation was in the original game, or is it going to be something to like I'm basically asking, is it going to be like tonally darker to match the rest of the game?
Well, um, a lot of people say that the original soundtracks were kind of dark. It was a little industrial, I'd say, and at the time, that was kind of a, if you get into the mid '90s when we were developing it, right, released in the late '90s, but that was a thing back then. And right now, industrial's kind of fallen off, right? Samplers were relatively new, so people could make unique types of sounds that they weren't hearing before. The '80s really birthed samplers, and so that started changing things. So it had a bit of that industrial tone, but I wouldn't say it was really up, upbeat music. It wasn't very happy music. We were always going for sort of epic and ominous, and we're continuing on that trend for sure.